Well, bringing home baby is one of a parent's most exhilarating experiences, but what happens when a woman who has waited months to be a mom leaves the hospital with empty arms and goes back to a crib that will never hold her child?
A group of mothers who've lived through that kind of loss is reaching out to others like them. Catherine Pegram joins us now with more. Catherine.
The Empty Arms Support Group in Bangor was started 2 years ago by a woman in Old Town, desperately searching for help as she struggled with the death of her daughter.
I had a seizure. I had to be intubated. I almost died.
Amy Gerby's third pregnancy was filled with complications that nearly killed her and ended when she was 6 months along.
And I remember saying, okay, how are we going to save the baby? And I distinctly remember him looking at me and saying, I don't think we can.
In January of 2007, Gerby lost her third daughter, Sophie. And while she recovered from the physical pain, the emotional pain deepened.
And I remember sitting there thinking, I don't feel lucky. I don't feel lucky at all. How am I lucky? I lost my baby girl. I felt broken. I felt absolutely broken.
Out of that brokenness, Gerby searched for other mothers who could understand her. And when she couldn't find that in Maine, she started Empty Arms at Eastern Maine Medical Center in Bangor. It's designed to help parents cope with miscarriage, stillbirth, and infant death, and validate the lives of their babies.
When the baby's first placed on you, you just want to wrap your soul around that child and never let go. That doesn't change if the baby's not alive. That feeling doesn't change.
I just assumed, you get over it kind of thing. Like I assumed everyone did who I had ever heard of had had a baby that had died.
Laura Layton knew early in her pregnancy her son Willow's wouldn't survive. He died 30 minutes after he was born. She joined the Empty Arms support group shortly after it was formed, helping her realize she had a right to grieve her son's death and accept him as part of her life.
I remember Amy saying at that first meeting, it's not when we learn to get on without them, it's when we learn to get on with them that we actually start moving on in a sort of productive way in our lives. And I think that that's so true.
Since the deaths of Sophie and Willow's, Gerby and Layton have given birth again. Evan, Gerby's fourth child, is 9 months old. Her daughters Megan and Aaron are now 4 and 6. 8-and-a-half-month-old Wynn is Layton's first daughter. Although the babies have a special place in their hearts, both moms say they'll never replace the ones they lost, nor should they.
How many kids do I have to plop a little 2-year-old right between Megan and Evan? How many more babies do I have to get that back? I'll never get it back. I'll never get it back. There's going to be a gap there. And that gap will be celebrated every January 22nd, and it's never going to go away.
And that's what the Empty Arms Support Group tries to help others who have experienced a loss understand. That baby was and always will be a part of them. Helping family members and friends realize that, though, and helping them ask and extend their support can be just as difficult. That's a concern we'll talk about tomorrow night at 6. To see this story again, you can log on to our website, wabi.tv, and click on Special Reports. Sharon and John.
9 months of pregnancy all comes down to one day, the birth of a baby. For some women, though, the joy of pregnancy is overshadowed by grief when their child dies from a miscarriage, is stillborn, or only lives to see a few precious hours or days.
A group in Bangor is reaching out to mothers living with that loss and trying to show others how to help them, too. Catherine Pegram joins us with the story. Catherine.
The Empty Arms Support Group offers parents, mostly mothers, a place to turn when the baby they longed for doesn't survive.
I had a baby. I birthed a baby, a little girl, and her name is Sophie. And it's really, really important that she remain a part of our family.
Amy Gerby is a mother of 4. One of her children didn't survive. Sophie died when Gerby was 6 months pregnant. It spurred Gerby to start a support group for others like her. She's found the first step toward healing is recognizing the space left by a lost baby can't be ignored.
I talk about her because she's a part of our family. She's the big gaping hole that nobody else can see and that nobody else can understand. And I think that that's why I get together with these women as many times a month as we possibly can, because me saying the name Sophie doesn't stop the room.
We try to emphasize to every mother that's here, even if they don't have a living child, that they are a mother. She's a mother, but unfortunately, she has empty arms. She doesn't have that baby to hold.
Pam Houston is a perinatal educator at Eastern Maine Medical Center and helps with the Empty Arms Support Group. She says it gives women a safe, comfortable place to open up about their baby's death.
It's something that happened. It's something, you know, horrible that happened, and it's a part of them. They're not like pushing it aside.
Laura Layton is a member of the group. Her 8.5-month-old daughter, Wynn, is her second child. Her son, Willows, died minutes after he was born. She says family and friends can help by acknowledging the lost baby, too.
In your daily life, it's always there, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's always there. So if someone invites you to talk about it, it's a really nice thing that you can share that part of your life with them.
Gerby says recognizing important dates, like a due date, with even a simple card, can mean so much.
Because the alternative to that is you think to yourself, I don't want to remind her, and you don't send a card. And now that mom has walked down to her mailbox, opened the mail, and there's nothing there. Nobody has remembered. Not only does nobody remember, they all think that I've forgotten.
Some families have pictures or locks of hair to remember their children. Others, like Gerby, who nearly died during her pregnancy, never get to see them. That's just one reason why the support group is now working to build a memorial at Mount Hope Cemetery in Bangor, to make sure no baby ever goes forgotten.
This is part of who I am. Like, I had a son who died, so I don't need to hide that. I don't need to, you know, try to get over it or forget it, because it's just part of who, you know, part of my story now.
As for the memorial, Mount Hope Cemetery has already donated the land for it. Folks with Empty Arms say they envision a tranquil spot for families to visit with a statue and a granite bench. They say they'll continue working to raise money until they can start building that memorial. Empty Arms meets the fourth Wednesday of every month, and for more information, you'll find a link on our website at wabi.tv. Click there on special reports, and that's also where you can see this story again. John and Sharon.
All right, thank you, Catherine. I just can't even imagine. You know, no one should have to go through that.
No, definitely not, and we thank those women for sharing their stories. They're definitely very inspirational to a lot of people out there.